G'day guys, and welcome back to another Ross Reviews, where today we're doing another bike. And this particular one, it is a 2005 Kawasaki ZX-6R 636. And if you want a cheap, reliable, fun track bike, this might be a really great starter. Because these bikes are right in the middle between a 300cc and a 1000. So it really does bridge the gap when you're learning. And like the bike says, it does have a 636cc, 16-valve, 4-cylinder engine and puts out about 128 horsepower and about 52 pound-feet of torque. It'll do a top speed of something like 168 mile an hour and do about an 11-second quarter mile. So it isn't a slouch either. Now these bikes weigh in at about 164 kilograms. We do have 300 mil twin discs up front, so hopefully this thing's gonna stop pretty damn well. Also got a single 220 mil disc at the back. And this particular bike does have a couple of modifications. So we've got braided brake lines, we've got frame sliders, and this does have a Remus exhaust. So it is mounted under the seat. Does give it a pretty cool look. We also have a rear seat delete. That's about it. It's got a 17-liter fuel tank. Let's get this bike out on the road.
Alright guys, so on the 636 now. Look, this just to me, straight away, just seems like a really nice intermediate bike here because, you know, look, I've only had a couple of bikes on the channel so far. We did previously review my brother's Yamaha R6, so if you do want to see that video, I'll leave a link for it in the pop-up banners up here. And I think this, the R6 is definitely the more track-focused bike there. This just feels a little bit more meaty. I don't know if that's the right word for it. It's got a little bit more go down low, it feels like to me. The R6, you definitely have to rev it out a little bit higher for that bike to move. This one, you know, you just simply get on it. Yeah, wow. It's definitely not slow. That's for sure, guys. And now pricing on these is really your friend because brand new, these bikes would have cost you here in Australia about $15,000. And, you know, that's pretty standard for a new sports bike. Nowadays on the used market, you know, you can really grab yourself a bargain with one of these things, I feel like, because, you know, this particular bike, the owner picked it up for $4,000 and he only just recently got it. So, you know, even in COVID times and stuff like that, you know, $4,000 for a bike like this here in Australia, I think that's a really good price. It is. And, you know, it's a super capable bike. He's currently using this bike as a bit of a daily, and he seems to be really happy with it. It doesn't feel like you can still toss it, not nearly as easily as the R6, but this feels much more of a, we can lean it and it'll just hold, you know? You can really lean this bike down, I feel like. I think if you were, you know, stepping up from a learner's onto something a little bit more intermediate, I think this is a really nice option, especially for the price, because I feel totally in control of this bike. You know, look, I'm not a huge one for experience with 1000cc bikes, but, you know, I've been heavily into motocross. I've raced my whole life. I've got a small bike, so I've got a 250cc because I don't really use it all that often. I'm more into the cars, like, you know, on this channel, but I still love a good bike. And, you know, these 600s, if you're confident on a learner's bike, these are really going to be a nice upgrade. They just are. It still keeps the front wheel down, so I'm not ever really afraid that this thing is gonna bite me and just start lifting the front wheels up. It will if you want it to, but you know, because this is obviously a very popular stunt bike throughout the world, so a lot of stunters do love this bike, and you know, I think for good reason, because hey, yeah, it's cheap, reliable, and it still offers quite a bit of power here. It still does feel light enough and tossable enough to have fun with. And that exhaust, that Remus, I had never heard of that exhaust before, but it's loud, I'll tell you what. I like a loud bike though. You know, look, the clutch is very easy to use as well. We do have shorty levers on here, sorry. And you know, it's going off again. Yeah, it's really responsive. It is. You know, on a bigger bike, you don't need to change gears, but you know, where's the fun in that? So I actually think for a street bike, these are better. They just are. You get some lovely pops and crackles out this exhaust as well, I can hear. And honestly, it just really is quite responsive. You don't really need to redline this bike, and you know, it will redline about 15,500 RPM, so it's quite high. But you don't need it. You know, anywhere around that 10, 11, 12,000 RPM is just plenty of go. And, you know, yeah, you still got to have some cojones to really send even one of these bikes, I tell you what. But just out here on this back road, I can't really complain with the brakes. They haven't seemed to fade very much. You definitely need good brakes though. I'll tell you what, this bike, man, it can surprise you. Very similar to that R6 almost, because you feel very in control of this bike under 6,000 RPM. It just feels like a learner's. And then as soon as you get into that, yeah, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 territory, woo, yeah, you better be holding on and have a straight bit of road, I'll tell you that much. It's lovely, this bike, it really is. I think for the money, bang for buck, this is fantastic, because you know, if you're gonna buy an R6, you're probably looking closer to that $7,000, $8,000, $9,000 mark. Holy shnikes. Yeah, this bike at $4,000, it is an absolute machine, I'll tell you what. It really does impress me. Lay it down. Oh yeah, this is fun. And it is right in that intermediate level, I think. You know, you can still kind of wind this bike out. You can still have a lot of fun. You can still take it to, you know, nearly the limit here and be reasonably in control. So I think, you know, especially for me, you know, look, I don't have a lot of experience on 1,000+ cc bikes, but you know, these 600s, I'm confident on them. Like, it is, you gotta really pick your spots. You gotta be smart when you drive one of these. But yeah, guys, for anyone who is watching this video and you know, they've been riding a learner's bike and they've got their full license now. Yeah, this 600, this 636 ZX-6R, yeah, I would love this bike. I really would. And for $4,000, that is just great value for money. It really is. This particular bike, you know, it's got 34,000 Ks on it. it's you know, for a bike, it's not even that much, honestly. You know, it's getting up there, but there's plenty of life left on this girl. Yeah, the gauge cluster is quite easy to read. You know, you've got your kilometers per hour digitally displayed for you in the middle, and you've got your RPMs. Yeah, it even tells you your temperature, so if you're at the track and you're running a little bit hot, that's the video, guys. I think this is amazing value for money. I really do. And right there says it all. It really does. I'm having too much fun, guys, so I'm gonna end the video off here today. Hope you guys really enjoyed it. If you did, give me a thumbs up, consider subscribing, and yeah, this is too fun.